Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. Currently I'm on the PTR playing a Subtlety rogue, and today I'll be showing you guys the PvP rotation for Subtlety. Now Subtlety is probably the only spec that doesn't have a PvP rotation whatsoever. There's not a lot I can tell you in terms of rotation for Subtlety, but I'll tell you guys exactly how to play, some of the abilities to keep up, and everything you need in order to dish out damage. So let's get on to the video. First thing I want to tell you guys, the Subtlety is you gotta maintain 2 abilities, which you'll find in your core abilities page menu. I'm going to build up some common points and show which ones that they are. First of all, keep up Slice and Dice. Slice and Dice will allow you to dish out extra attack speed because of your mastery and regain 8 energy every 2 seconds. That is how you regain energy as Subtlety. Another ability you need to keep up is Rupture onto your opponents. The reason you keep up Rupture onto your opponents is because of a passive called Sanguinary Veins, which increases all damage of Rupture by 30% and causes you to deal 30% extra damage to target affected by Rupture, Corrode, or Crimson Tempest. The way you should look at these abilities as such: there's 2 types of playstyles for Subtlety, and you gotta vary between 2 of them. One of them is part of the setup for yourself, another one is setting up for damage. A setup for yourself would be like generating 5 common points and then putting up Slice and Dice. Another playstyle for Subtlety is to dish out damage into your opponent by applying Rupture and Find Weakness. This way you are able to use your energy in order to dish out damage as much as possible without having to do a setup for yourself, but setting up onto an opponent. One of the important things about playing Subtlety Rogue is maximizing the utility of your energy and common points, making sure you get the most return value out of them. In this video I'm going to show you guys how you can get the most value out of your energy usage and common point generation, as well as common point spending. First ability you have is Honor Among Thieves, which means critical hits in combat by you or a party member grant you a combo point onto your target, no more than every 2 seconds. So as I'm auto attacking this train dummy, I'm simply generating common points if any of my abilities are critical. So you'll see I'm not using any abilities, I'm simply passively generating common points every time an ability crits every 2 seconds. That is something you should take advantage of as a Subtlety rogue. Don't spam your abilities. However, if you are going to spam your abilities, there's 2 options: Hemorrhage and Backstab, and these 2 are part of that playstyle of setting up, going for the kill. Hemorrhage is a better option for setup. It doesn't deal that much damage compared to Backstab, but it's a 30 energy, so you can spam it out and not be energy drained, which makes you energy effective. Backstab is awesome in terms of damage, but it costs 5 extra energy, and simply 3 spams of it puts you at a major disadvantage where you don't have any energy when you're actually setting up for damage. So use Hemorrhage whenever you're going for setup, Backstab when you're going for damage. Another interesting ability Subtlety rogues have at their disposal is Phantom Knives, which generates common points for each person hit. I'm going to stand next to the 3 train dummies, hit them all. 4 common points generate thanks to Honor Among Thieves, but 3 common points simply from using Phantom Knives. Phantom Knives cost 35 energy just like Backstab. It does not deal damage to a single target, but when you're going for setup, it's a great ability in order to get your setup going. Whether you're trying to Phantom Knives, get a full Slice and Dice up, or Phantom Knives, get a Rupture onto your target going, and now you have your full setup and you're ready to dish out damage, and you should be self-sustainable on your own as Subtlety rogue. Now how do Subtlety rogues deal damage? That you'll get from using your stealth abilities. So if I'm stealthing and I'm passing by a train dummy, ambush them, they get a debuff of Find Weakness. 100% of armor is being ignored by the attacking rogue. This number might be slightly lower for PvP because Subtlety rogues do dish out a lot of damage to players, but the damage and the passive still persist, and they make you deal a ton more damage into your opponent. You should never effectively spam out any energy or combo points, or in most cases, unless you have Find Weakness. Find Weakness allows you the maximum potential damage onto your opponent. Let me give you an example. So I'm going to find this train dummy, ambush them, I'm going to face away. I'm going to wait until the subterfuge is gone, and I'm going to backstab him. 9k, 9k, 12k crit, and the Find Weakness is gone. So 9k non-crit, 12k crit ability. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the train dummy without applying Find Weakness, and we'll look at the damage then. 5k passives, 6k passive damage compared to 9k passive damage, non-crit. Find Weakness definitely improves all damage you deal. So when stacking Sanguinary Veins for 30% extra damage to target, Find Weakness to go through the armor, and then using effectively backstabs that take a lot of energy out of yourself, you can technically dish out a ton of damage into opponents while locking them down, and that is how you spend your combo points. Another ability that Subtlety rogues have is called Premeditation, which pretty much generates 2 combo points onto our target. Well, most of the times people generate premeditation and then use it for slice and dice in order to get the damage off early. Because people are trying to get fine weakness in the opener, you can use cheap shot, get a full rupture, and have sync veins and cheap shot onto the opponent. Now you're free to backstab and hemo your target as needed. Most people follow up a stun with another stun to be able to lock down their opponents and dish out damage in the opener. You can enhance your openers with any array of abilities. You can use trinkets in order to dish out more damage. You can use Shadow Dance in order to keep spamming ambush into your target, dishing out a ton more damage. You can use potions, you can use any abilities during your openers in order to dish out maximum amounts of damage, because you're pretty much set up to dish out the most amount of damage whenever you open onto your target. Once you're stealth, you get ability of Master of Subtlety. It increases the damage you deal while in stealth and for 5 seconds after you leave stealth by 15%. This is why Subtlety rogues are all about getting those juicy openers and dishing out as much damage into your openers as possible. So if you play around with any array of trinkets, abilities such as Death from Above in order to enhance your experience, Prey on the Wake in order to decrease damage when you have your opponent locked down, and looking up all the different opener rotations for Subtlety, you can enhance the amount of damage you can deal in the opener. Because of Shadow Dance being a 1 minute cooldown, you can pretty much burst every 1 minute as Subtlety, and every time you catch a re-stealth, it's almost like a mini burst. So that is part of playing Subtlety. You don't have any cooldowns that simply increase your damage, but it's all about personally managing the damage that you can possibly deal. It's a lot more hands-on spec than some of the other specs out there, such as Combat or Assassination, who have abilities such as Killing Spree, Vendetta, or even Deep Insight mechanic, in order to increase their abilities as they get rewarded for playing their class and their spec and their playstyle. As a Subtlety rogue, again, you should definitely look up some of the openers, some of the burst openers, and you'll find plenty of channels and plenty of content out there, and all you need to do is practice. As much as I would love to say this spec is somewhat easy to pick up, it is not really. It doesn't have a rotation whatsoever. It's all about seeing how much energy you have, what combo points you have, and what is the next step you're trying to take with your target. It all depends whether you're trying to stun your opponent, maybe silence him, maybe trying to go for full damage, trying to build up combo points, or maybe stall to generate extra energy when you're trying to burst out your damage later in. The spec is more hands-on than any other spec of rogue in World of Warcraft, and definitely takes some getting used to if you've been playing combat or assassination for the longest time and never even given the spec a try. This spec is only as good as the player, so it has a lot of room to grow, and as you get better as a player, there's no real ceiling cap for it, as you'll just keep improving better and better and better. Now in the description, I'm going to leave all the information that I have in terms of openers for Subtlety rogues, so you guys can check out those videos as well, and hopefully those will be able to help you out when you're trying to line up some bursts, openers, or into some sort of consistent damage as a Subtlety rogue. My name is Dalaran. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Subtlety rogue PvP rotation, or for a better word of which abilities to keep up, which abilities to keep onto your opponent, and how to be more cost effective with your energy and combo points. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully guys this helps you start playing your Subtlety rogue. It's more of a hands-on spec. It is definitely much more difficult to play than Combat or Assassination, and the fact that it's so difficult makes it interesting and intricate, especially once you can nail down the mechanics. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Dalaran, and I'll see you guys in the next video.